Yeah. So today's concept is virtualization. So before we understand what is virtualization, let us also understand how were the IT operations before, when we started the information technology, or when the information technology started booming, okay, or when the computers are originated. So if you know that when the computers are started, they were very big in size. So if you talk about a computer about 25 years back or 30 years back, so a very big computer has got very less configuration. Okay, if you take this computer maybe after before 30 years, okay, so it has got about maybe 1 GB memory and maybe around P1 or P2 processor, very big in size. After for 5 years or 2 years, the size got reduced. Okay, it has become like a P3 processor or P4 processor, and the RAM got increases to 2 GB. This is maybe 25 years. Okay, and as the days are coming, okay, now we are in 2024 now. Now a server is very small in size, like it comes for a size of a mobile phone, and it can hold up to terabytes of storage, TBs of storage, okay, and TBs of memory, okay, and number of processors. It can be, you can imagine 500 CPUs can also be there, 500 CPUs can also be there. So as we are evolving, we started exploring more and more, and we wanted to increase the efficiency, and you wanted to increase the performance, and also durability, and also the cost effective. Okay, so you may ask a question, sir, what is the difference? Only the size difference, but you can only with respect to physical, but actually the real scenario, if you see, imagine you have 100 application servers. What was the challenge? Let me explain you. Okay, imagine you have 100 applications hosted. So to keep 100 application servers, if you go physical servers like this bigger, you need to have a very big room in order to have all the computers placed. Correct, na? See, when you build an house, you will build depend upon number of peoples are there in the house. If there are 5 peoples, you may go with 2 BHK or 3 BHK. If there are 7 8 peoples, you may go to 3 or 4 BHK. Like, the number of peoples decides how big the house is required. The same logic applicable here. When you have more number of servers, you need to have a proper data center in order to accommodate all the 100 application servers. If the size of the computers or the servers are bigger, you need to plan a bigger data center, right? So since you have these challenges, you should also have power backup to run all the 100 servers. You should also have proper AC ventilation to keep the servers cool, and you should also have the human resources, the engineers, in order to make the operations, day-to-day operations in the data center. So there are a lot of investment goes there. But as we are reducing the sizes, or as we are increasing uh, the capacity, okay, so this one particular mobile phone size of a server is having this bigger configuration. So what we can do, we don't need to have a bigger data center. We can just place in a small rack with AC ventilation. Okay, and we don't need 100 engineers, because one engineer is enough to take care of it. So then what we will do, we will install a tool called virtualization on that one physical box which is having more configuration. Okay, imagine this is a server with 1 TB storage and 1 TB memory, and maybe 500 CPUs. This is storage, this is memory. Okay, so we will install a tool called hypervisor here. We'll call it as hypervisor. We'll call it as hypervisor. So when you install an application called hypervisor to this server, okay, so this hypervisor will facilitate a console to administer the storage, so administer the server. Okay, so what you have done, you have installed an application called hypervisor. This application we also call it as an operating system, guys. Okay, because you are going to install this hypervisor to this, like you install the Windows 10 and Windows Server operating system to a bare metal server, you can also install an hypervisor. As soon as you install the hypervisor to this server, this will give a graphical console in order to control the entire hardware. You can use this 1 TB storage, 1 TB memory, and 500 CPU. And if there is a requirement for deploying a server, what you will do, with the use of this console, you will create computer within computer, like small computers under the same bigger physical box. Okay, so you have a bigger computer here. You are installing an application called hypervisor. Using that, you can see a console. You will log into that console and you can create required number of computers by leveraging the required amount of capacity. So what you will do, out of 1 terabyte of storage, 1 terabyte of memory, and 500 CPU, you can leverage, maybe here you need a 8 GB of memory. Okay, and maybe around 4 CPU, maybe around 200 GB storage. Okay, you carved out 8 GB of memory and 8 GB, 4 CPU and 200 GB of storage from this available capacity and created the one computer here. So since you have used 8 GB, 4 CPU and 200 GB storage, here it is getting reduced. Out of 1 TB minus 8 GB, 200 GB storage, means it has got around 1800 GB left out here. If you use again the same configuration, maybe this computer need around 20 GB of memory. Okay, and CPU can be, you need 16 CPU. Okay, or maybe it has got 500 GB of storage. So as the number of computers are increased or more number of CPU memory you are using, the memory, CPU and the storage will be carved out here. It will be taken from this total capacity. Okay, so basically you are going to create a computer within a computer. Okay, you are going to create a computer within a computer, and all the computers which are created inside will act as a different computers only. Okay, so this is called as the virtualization technology or techniques. So any questions, guys, here? Okay, so this is called as the virtualization. So there are two types of virtualization, guys. Okay, let me give, if somebody asks you how many types of virtualizations are there in the market, so you can tell there are two types of virtualization. Okay, the first one is type 1, another one is type 2. Type 1 we also call it as bare metal. Type 2 is simple hypervisor. Okay, now if you ask me the difference between the type 1 and type 2, imagine you have two servers. Okay, this is another server. So this is a type 1 hypervisor, this is type 2 hypervisor. See, type 1 hypervisor itself is an operating system. It will be installed directly to the computer hardware, and that type 1 hypervisor will talk to the computer hardware directly. Okay, there is no operating system dependency because type 1 itself is an operating system. You directly install type 1 hypervisor to the hardware. Okay, and you don't need in any kind of operating system. But in case of type 2 hypervisor, it has got a dependency of an operating system. What you have to do? You have to first install some operating system. Imagine you are installing a Windows 10 or Windows 11 operating system. On top of an operating system, you will install type 2 as an application. So here dependency is there, and type 1 is performance is very good, and it is used in the real time environment in your offices. If you go as a VMware administrator, you will see type 1 hypervisor only. But type 2 is used in the lab environment, educational institutes to do the practices. Okay, so now let me show you how the type 1 and type 2 looks like. See, you can see my computer here. If you see, go to command prompt. If I see Windows version, if I want to see my operating system, see, this is my operating system. I have a Windows 11 operating system. I have a computer with Windows 11 operating system. Okay, and within the Windows 10, I have installed a tool called VMware. You see, I'm just taking you to a console where I've installed all the applications. Okay, this is the you see here VMware Workstation. I've installed a tool called VMware Workstation to my Windows 11 operating system. So here it has got a dependency of an operating system. Can somebody tell me what kind of what kind of hypervisor it is, this VMware Workstation? Is it type 1 or type 2? Guys, is it type 1 or type 2? Since it is installed on top
Type
of an operating system.
type 2.
It is a type 2 hypervisor. Okay, let me take to another one. So I have opened this VMware. Okay, I have created an operating system called VMware ESXi. Okay, let me power on this one. See, this is my hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor. Means what I have done, I have installed VMware Workstation, created a VM called VMware ESXi 7. Okay, and inside that VMware ESXi 7, what I have done, I have installed the type 1 hypervisor. Since I have installed the type 1 hypervisor, I told you it will give you a console in order to control the the existing capacity of the server. So now I'll take you to that console also. Okay, and I'll show you inside this VMware ESXi how to create the virtual machines and all. Okay, this is the type 1 hypervisor. Okay, so let this get powered on, then I'll take you to the console. Hope this is clear and there is no confusions. Any confusions, please stop me then and there. Yeah, see, my machine is up and running. My ESXi 7, my VMware host is up and running, and you see this is the IP address in order to access this ESXi 7. Okay, so it is 192.168.190.150. Okay, what I will do, I will go to the browser. Okay, I'll go to the browser and I'll type 192.168.190.150, right? So see here, this is the browser. So this is the IP address, 192.168.190.150. Can you guys see the IP address? And if I enter, see, it is connected to this one. It is showing some connection is not private, it is public. Okay, that's fine. Warnings are fine. If I proceed to that, you see, you get the VMware console. I told you, right? As soon as you install the hypervisor to a computer hardware, you will get a wizard, you will get a console in order to control the available capacity or the hardware. Okay, now login, you log in with root user and you can just enter with the password. See, now there is an option called VMs. See, I have created VM01 and I have created VM02. Okay, you can see computers within a computer. This is my host where I have installed the ESXi7 and it has got some capacity. Okay, and within that you have virtual machines created. Okay, how to create a virtual machine? You can do like this. Click on create a virtual machine. Okay, create a new virtual machine. You can give like some name VM03 and compatibility, select operating system, like you want Windows or you want any other operating system. In Windows, what operating system you wanted? Maybe you need a server 2016. Okay, let me put server 2016. So next, and how much capacity of space you needed, storage, you can select how much ever you wanted. Okay, next, and how much, see how many CPU you wanted one CPU or two CPU, how much memory you want 4 GB or 4 MB, see 4 GB you wanted, or how many MBs you wanted, how much storage you needed, say for example 7 GB. I don't have enough space, so I'll just keep 7 GB. And where you want to store, you want to store in the data store. Okay, all those things you can define and you can click on next and finish. Now you see a new virtual machine called VM03 is created here. Okay, then you can just click on VM03 and you can power on. You can individually control each and every computers, guys. If you want to shut down this VM03, you can shut down. If you want to only run this VM01, you can power on and you can run. So this is what we called as the type 1 hypervisor. Okay, so about this I will explain you more. Okay, now you should know the virtualization means it is a concept of creating a computer within a computer. How it is possible? We can use a tool called or application called virtualization, and another name for virtualization is called as hypervisors. There are two types of hypervisor. One is type 1 hypervisor, another one is type 2 hypervisor. The type 1 hypervisor is itself is an operating system. You have to install that to the computer hardware. Once you install that to the computer hardware, that will give you a console in order to control the available the configurations, and it will also allow you to create the virtual machines however the way you need it. You want a Windows VM, you want a Linux VM, you want any other appliance VM. Okay, how much capacity you wanted, depend upon the available capacity, you can just toggle here and there. Okay, later if you want in, say for example you want to increase some memory CPU storage, it is very easy. Like say if you go here VMware, here option called edit, go to that edit option, then you can increase, instead of 2 CPU you may need 1 CPU, click on that. Memory, instead of 4 GB you need 7 GB, see you can give. Okay, but I don't have capacity, I told you, right? Depend upon the available capacity only you can give. You have only 10 GB, you cannot give 11 GB. Okay, so within the available limit. Okay, I had 4, I can make 5. Okay, or maybe I can reduce 3. And hard disk 7 GB is there. If you want to make 5 GB, you can make GB, or if the capacity is there, even you can make 50 GB. Okay. Okay, and you can save it. Since I don't have capacity, enter the disk size which is larger than its original capacity is there. So 7, instead of 7 I can make 8 GB. See? Okay. Now you see the capacity got changed here. See? CPU from 2 to 1 CPU have reduced. Memory from 4 GB to 3 GB have reduced. Hard disk have increased by 7 to 8 GB. Okay. This is how it is easy increasing or decreasing the size of the virtual machine. Okay. So this is how you create the VM and all. So anyway, I will explain you this later. So with respect to the type 1 hypervisor, this information is enough for you guys. Okay, hope this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So now let me take the type 2 hypervisor, because you are in the lab, you are going to practice on the type 2 hypervisor only. Okay, because when you have type 1 hypervisor, you need to have a bigger machine, like minimum 32 GB memory, okay, with 1 terabyte storage, with big number of CPUs. You wanted at least 4 to 5 CPUs, or maybe i7 with good generations, latest generations you should have. Okay, so let me take you to the type 2 hypervisor now. The type 2 hypervisor is this one. See, this VMware workstation is there. As soon as I double click on that, it get open. So this is my type 2 hypervisor. You see the difference. Type 1 hypervisor gave you a URL, it gave a link or an IP address, and you logged into that using the browser. But the type 2 hypervisor is not giving you a link. It is installed as an application, and you have opened like you open an application in your phone. You went to the VMware workstation and you double clicked. And you see there are multiple VMs got created here. So even yesterday we created this Windows 10. Na? So today I will explain you how to create a virtual machine using the VMware workstation. So as soon as you clicked on this VMware workstation, you have to go to this home button. Okay. So once you go to the home button, you see three options here. Create a virtual machine, open a virtual machine, or connect to a remote server. Create means from the scratch you can create a computer. Open means available VMs, maybe you have stored somewhere in a C drive, D drive, some virtual hard disk, you can open that as a VM. Connect means if you want to remotely connect, say for example, you are at your home, I am here. If we have the connection between my laptop and your laptop, I can connect your laptop. I will show you how to connect to a computer remotely. Okay, so that I'll show you now. Fine. So this VMware ESXi, let me shut down. Power off. Then I'll go to home and I'll click on create a new virtual machine, because I'm going to show you how to create a virtual machine. This is important. Okay, click on create a new virtual machine and you get two options here. One is typical, another one is custom. When you click on typical, it will just pick up the recommended values and it will just say finish, finish. See, if I don't do anything, I'll just click on typical, it will ask me next. I'm just simply taking next. See, it is everything selecting, where the location is selecting. See, memory it is selecting. See, it is not allowing me to select the CPU and other things also, and it is asking me finish. Only 4 steps. But if you go to the custom, you get other options also. It will give you an advanced options to define whatever capacity or whatever configurations you needed. So always I prefer to go with custom. Click on custom, go next, then it will first give you the VMware compatibility. So I am using an operating system, this VMware workstation version 17.x. See here, if you go to help about workstation, you will see version is 17.0 or 17 Pro, right? That is what it is telling here. Click on create a virtual machine custom. It is telling me or telling you this workstation is 17.x and the capacity, the compatibility is this one. It will support up to 128 GB memory, 32 processor, 10 network adapters, 8 GB of storage, and graphics is 8 GB. 8 TB of disk and 8 GB of shared graphics it supports. Okay, you don't have to worry with that, just go with next. And it is asking how you want to install the operating system. You want to install the operating system using the disk right now, or you want to use the image right now, or you want to install it later. If you click on any of these options, it will start installing now only. Then you have to sit in front of the computer to take you to the next step, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. If you don't want to do that, and if you want to do an unattended installation means you define all the settings at the first, click on installation, go for a cup of coffee and come. By the time the installation will be done. That means you should not be sitting in front of the computer when you opt for an unattended installation. Attended installation means somebody has to be there attended in front of the machine to take the click on next and say some click on accept the license terms and conditions, all those things. Okay. So if I select the last option, you see it will take me to enter all the settings at the first itself. Okay, I'll click on next. See, it is asking me what operating system you wanted. You want Windows? Click on Microsoft Windows, and it will give you in the pop down all the available Windows flavors here. See, starting from Windows 3.1. You might have some people might have not even took birth when this Windows 3.1 came. Okay, I started working from Windows 95, okay, 98, and when I was started working, right, I mean I use Windows 95, but I was not aware of it, okay, much. But when I started working, I started with Windows 2000 server and Windows 2003 server. But one or two servers I saw Windows 95. They know people will not touch this Windows 95 because if you shut down, you are not sure whether it will come again or not. It will come up or not. Okay. So these are all the available operating system. Imagine you need a Windows 10 operating system. Click on that. If you need Linux, click on Linux. It will give you all the flavors. You have Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, and the other VMware versions also there. See here, CentOS, Asian Linux, all this thing, all this Novel is there, Debian is there, Fedora is there, all the available flavors. But in our case, we need Windows 10. So I'll have to click on Windows. Version is Windows 10. Next. Then it is asking me to give a name for my machine. I can give a name called PC02 because already PC01 is here. Okay. So where do you want to store this image? Since it is a virtual machine, the entire operating system will be stored in a disk. Somewhere it will be stored as a disk or image file. Okay. And it is asking me where you want to store it. And I want to store it in the D drive. Go to browse. If you go to this PC, go to D drive, there you have VM. See, here is a VM. Click on the VM, create a folder called PC02 and select that PC02. See, D:VM PC02. I am going to store this image called PC02. I'll show you that. Okay. Next. And this is the firmware type. BIOS means it is basic input output system. UEFI means unified extended firm interface, interface. Okay. UEFI is the latest one. BIOS is the legacy one. All the new hardware supports UEFI. All the old hardware support BIOS. So you can select whatever you wanted. There is no much difference for you guys. Okay. So you can select UEFI or BIOS. Let me select BIOS only because maybe in your laptops also you will have BIOS. Next. Then it is asking me how much processor you wanted to keep. You want to go with 2 CPUs. How many cores? My laptop has got only 2 CPUs and I cannot use more than that. So that is the reason I'll just go with 2 CPUs. Okay. Click on next. You see, my laptop has got 16 GB memory. If I want to show you that, go to this PC, right click and go to properties, and you see here my machine has got 16 GB of memory, RAM, i7 8th generation 2 gig speed. Okay, and storage it has got 512 GB. See, 150 GB and 350 GB, right? So I have total 512 GB of storage, 16 GB memory, and it's an i7 8th generation processor with 2 gig speed. So out of 16 GB maximum, how much I can define? 4 GB is fine for a computer to run decently. 4 GB memory is fine. Okay, let me put 4 GB. I'll click on 4 GB. It got changed here. If you click on 8 GB, See, it will get changed here. So I need 4 GB. Click on 4 GB. Next. This is the network type, guys. What kind of network you wanted? You want a bridge network, or you want a NATed network? All those things. Okay. If you go with NATed, you will have connection between your computers. PC 1 can talk to Windows 10, PC 1 can talk to PC 2, like the communication will be established. I'll show you that. So better you select the NAT. Rest all default. You go with this is recommended, you go with the recommended one. Disk is NVMe recommended one, go with the recommended one. Create a new disk. If you want to create a new machine, obviously you have to create a new disk. Click on the create a new disk, and it is asking you how much capacity you want to give. By default it is telling, see, recommended size is 60 GB. Fine, I am okay with the 60 GB, just give it the 60 GB. But here you see three options. Allocate all the disk space, means in the D drive how much ever space is there. If I click on this one, everything will be allocated. How much free is there here in my D drive? See, in my D drive I have 184 GB free space. Everything will be allocated to this computer. If I click on this option, I don't want to do that. Then if I click on split the virtual disk into multiple files, this 60 GB drive will get divided into 10 GB and store 6 pieces. So it is very difficult to manage. If you want to move that to one computer, another computer, it is very difficult. See how it is when you go to normally for the shopping, we always prefer to get the cart. First and foremost thing we do, we will just pull up a trolley. Correct, right? And we will start picking up the things and putting it into the trolley, because that makes your life easy. Otherwise, you cannot carry all the things, right? The same fashion goes here. So, to make the administration burden easy, we wanted to club this 60 GB together and create a single file. So, store the virtual disk as a single file. You need to select that option. Then click on next. Then it is by default taking the name. It is computer name is PC02 .vmdk. .vmdk is, this is virtual machine disk. This is the extension. VMDK means it is virtual machine disk. Okay. Click on next and finish. As soon as you click on finish, a new computer called PC02 got created here. It's a bare metal. There is no operating system in it. Okay. See, memory 4 GB, processor 2, hard disk is 60 GB, CD, DVD is there, network adapter is there, USB is there, display, everything is there. Okay. But if I power on now, since I have not selected the CD or operating system to be installed, it will try to detect an operating system, and it does not have any operating system in it. Then it will just throw an error called no operating system found, because we need to install the operating system to this computer, right? So now you know already how to install an operating system using CD, DVD and other stuffs also there. So let me shut down this computer. PC02 I'm going to shut down. When you see the CD-ROM, you don't see any disk there. If you see this PC02, still getting shut down. It got shut down. See here in the CD or DVD, you have set an option called auto detect, but there is no CD inserted here. Let me go to the CD option. See here, it is auto detect is there, but nothing is selected. So what I will do, since I have already downloaded the images, browse and select the Windows 10 image. I'll send you the links today. You can download Windows 10 and Server 2016 and also the VMware tool. Okay. So select this Windows 10, apply OK. Now if you click on, it will detect the operating system. Click here in the dark screen. It will detect the operating system now. See, detected. It's loading. It will tell you press some key to continue. See, since I have clicked there, it automatically picked up. See, the operating system is now loading from the CD to the computer. This is called as beginning of the installation. This is how the installation begins. Now it will tell you, would you like to install? Yes. You have to select the languages, region, all those things. Okay, like you can see here now. Let me make it full screen. Okay. Click on next, language, time, keyboard layout, everything you select. By default, it is United States English only. Click on next. Click on install. Now it will tell you what version of operating system you wanted to install. In Windows 10 only multiple versions are there. You have home series, you have educational, you have professional series. It is asking you to enter the license keys because every application or operating system is a license based. You have to pay for it. Since we are doing the lab, you can select this option called I don't have a product key since we are doing the lab. But in the office, you have to enter the key and there automatically things will happen, not to worry, okay? See, Windows 10 Home Edition is there, Education Edition is there, and also Professional Edition is there. Since we are all going to be professionals, we should always use the professional softwares. So Windows 10 Pro I am selecting and click on next. Now it is asking you to accept the license terms and conditions. Click on license terms and accept. Next, it will give you two options. The first one is upgrade, the second one is custom or install. So what is the difference between a fresh installation and an upgrade? When do we call it as an upgrade or when do we call it as custom? Guys, what do you mean by an upgrade?
So when we have already installed the Windows, we will upgrade the system. So
Exactly. So you already have an operating system. Say for example, you had a Windows 10. You want to upgrade the same operating system from Windows 10 to Windows 11. You will insert the CD, go to this upgrade option. Your computer will be upgraded from Windows 10 to Windows 11 without changing any settings. You will have the same data, you will have all the applications, everything. That is called as upgrade. Okay, I'll make it even more simpler. You already have an iPhone 15. Now 16 is launched. If you buy 16, people will call it as you got upgraded to 16. Correct, na? Or if you already have one Android, freshly you are buying iPhone, that is the custom. That is called as fresh. So that is the difference. If you already have an operating system, if you want to elevate that to the next version, that is called as upgrade. Since we don't have any operating system, I should select the last option, install, Windows only. Now you get this drive. If you remember, we have given 60 GB drive. My manager told me to create two drives. One drive for operating system, which is 50 GB, remaining 10 GB for data drive, D drive. Okay. How to create? Click on this unallocated space. There is an option called new. Click on new. And here it is asking me how much MB of space you wanted to give for the new drive. So I need 50 GB. So 50 GB means it is 50 into 1024. So 1 GB means it's 1024, right? 1 GB means it is 1024 MB into 50 GB. That goes to 51,200 MB. So if I put here 51,200 MB and apply, click on apply, see it creates a new drive called a first primary drive partition 2 with 50 GB. See here, it got created, a new drive got created at 50 GB. And you can still see an unallocated space of 10 GB. So now click on unallocated space, click on new, you use the entire space available. See, now you have total three partitions are there. The first one is system reserved. This I have not created. The operating system has created this one. And that is not my partition. You see, it is system partition. I am not done it. System has created this one. And the primary two primary are there which I have created. The first primary is 50 GB and the second primary is 10 GB. The best practice to install the operating system, always we should use the first primary drive, guys. The first primary drive is 50 GB. Select that 50 GB drive, and if you click on next, your operating system is now getting copied from your CD or DVD to this drive, the newly created 50 GB drive. It copy all the files. First it will just making sure the copying is possible. Then it will unzip all the files which is there in the CD or DVD, and then start copying from DVD to the drive, and then one by one it will install the features, and then finally it will install the updates. And once everything is done, it will just restart the computer. Once the restart is done, okay, then I'll take you to the other computer. Once the restart is done, your computer will look like this. It will be coming like this. You need to select the region. You have to select United States. Click on next. And these options, in the real time, whatever operating system image you use, it is fine tuned image. Sometimes you don't need to do any changes, any settings, because that comes by default. It is asking the secondary keyboard layout. I don't want it, because you are using the same image in the lab. I wanted to show you this one, okay? But in the real time, you will not ask all these questions. After the restart, you can just enter your username and password and you will be inside the computer. That's it. It will take some time, still going on. Now let me show you the PC02. See, PC02 also completely installed and it is restarting. So meantime, we'll go to Windows 10. It is asking how would you like to set up. Would like to set up personal or organizational? I'll go with personal, because organization, if you put, you need to put your office ID. So I don't want to do that. Personal, I'll click and click on next. It is asking enter your email ID, and I will say here I don't have any email ID. I'll click on offline account. Left side corner, offline account is there. Click on offline account. Then I'll enter. I don't want this limited experience. I'm okay with that. Now I'm entering maybe admin. Password, it is asking password. You can give a complex password. Password, see, password at the rate 123. So capital P is there, rest all small words, and at the rate symbol is there, special character, 123 numbers are there, okay? So next. Confirm password. Same. PASSWOD at the rate 123. PASSWOD at the rate 123. Yeah. Question, security question. All these things won't be asked in the real time. You can select any key, I mean any questions. Answer can be A. Just to remember. Now, now my profile will be started creating. It will take a while. Another 2 minutes it will take. Once everything is done, you will be inside. Meantime, if I go to PC02, still getting ready. Yeah, I accept this one. Skip this one. It is, I don't want to enable Cortana, so I will click on not now. Now my profile is started creating, because it should create a folder for me inside the operating system C drive. Under the users, a folder will be created called admin, and under that you have to create, I mean, downloads, my documents, pictures, all those folder will get created, and the relevant the required registry. In the registry it will just do modification, correct, right? All those things will be done at the back end. So it will take some time. First time only. Second time onwards it is not required, because already profile will be there. You can just quickly log in. Yeah, it is completed now, and my machine is up and running. So this is how you have to install the, or you will install the operating system. Okay. So tomorrow what we will do, I will show you what are all the things that you do after a operating system installation. The post build activities. I mean, some build activities will be there. How will you make sure all the things are correct? Or what are the things that you do after the OS installation? Okay. So I think with that we can just stop for the day. Tomorrow we can connect. Let me stop the video. 1 second. Let me close this one. Yeah. Okay, then I'll stop the recording. Thank you. 1 minute.